This is Jelle, growing bonsai, visiting a grow bed in winter. Second half of winter. The sun is back. It's cold. Cold as in for me -5°C. Overnight a little bit cooler, during the day a little bit warmer. So think about 25 to 30 Fahrenheit. I think it's almost strong enough that in a couple of weeks I will see the buds getting even thicker and maybe even opening. I am now doing my rounds in my grow bed, and mind you, I'm doing this when I don't expect very heavy frost anymore. Now this linden tree I had out of the garden I think last spring or 2 years ago to work on the root base. And I planted it back up and I put this next to it to keep it upright. That's no longer needed. And it's done really well. And if you look at the trunk, taper basically stops here. So this branch or that branch is going to be my new leader. And because I want the movement to turn back, I don't want to extend, this is going to be my new leader. So that means that I'm going to have to cut it back here. Normally I'd say wait until mid-spring, once it has flushed, and then cut it off. But if I now look at my tree, what you see here is something has been digging in the trunk. And typically that means there's something living here under the bark. All the way down here that you see damage, and even the bark here is damaged. So I don't think I want to wait until early spring to do anything about it. Now normally I would cut quite near to the side branch that I want to keep. But in this case, because it's still winter, I'm going to go a lot higher. Now these loppers are a little bit small, so let's use my saw. Right, I'm not going to do anything else. This I'm just going to leave alone. Now contrast is a little bit harsh. And this branch of course I don't want to get too strong, so I'm just going to prune it back. This I want to allow to grow as much as possible. But these side branches I don't want to get all that long. The same here, this I've allowed to extend so that the cut here can start healing over. But I don't want it to get too strong. So just remove long growth. This branch is going down, it should go. Removing the end buds from these branches will reduce the strength with which they can extend. And what you might notice, I'm cutting all of these with quite a long leeway to the first bud. That is really to avoid this freezing in all the way and killing off the whole branchlet. Here in the back, similarly, remove a branch that I don't need. Remove the long growth to keep it nice and compact, because I don't want this to extend a lot. That's pretty much all I do for this tree. Then normally I check whether there's any buds on the trunk and I just rub them off. But there's not all that many on there because this tree has actually been quite well protected. This is a nice example of what I mean. These are all these buds, they're popping here on the trunk and I can just rub them off and therefore avoid that a cluster of branches will appear in spring. And this of course is very small damages to the trunk that you'll never see. Whereas if you let it grow as a little branch, then you'll see it for years on end. This little line here, I've pruned here and I've pruned there, and this section has died off. And this is the line along which I can then in spring clean this up, and then the bark will heal over completely. This I've pruned and a little side branch has popped, so this can also in spring be removed. This is not the time to do these sort of cleanups. Similar here, pruning scar died off all the way to knuckle and I can cut it off here or even here. But I'll do that when growth is strong in early spring. And now with this low sunlight you can see here, this area is where I removed a branch using a wedge cut method. You see on the top it is almost completely closed, but it hasn't died back at all. You see here the bark curving back in and here the same thing. So this is getting to the stage that it's healing over, and maybe in a year or two this will be completely closed. Nice little linden tree that I'm building here. This is an oak that I once pruned really short. And you see here this has died off, but on the edges this is still growing and still nice. So this is actually adding character. This will decay over time, and there's 2 nice branches here and a long sacrifice that I'm allowing to grow. But then up here it gets quite full, with this large sacrifice growing nicely into the sun, but also in my walkway. Same with this one. And now this is allowed to grow again for the year. This is a Tamarix. It has never flowered for me. I also don't like the way it looks. I tried to once sell it, but nobody wanted it. So I'm not sure why I still have it here. But it just throws these canes everywhere from the main trunk. And the main trunk is of course this lower part here. So I shouldn't have all these long sections here. Same here. Removing clusters of little branches, just keeping individual side branches. This is actually the leader, so remove this, shorten this, and now it is back into profile for spring. This is not pretty, to be honest, and I should go back in with knob cutters, but I'll do that over summer to clean out some of this rough growth. But this should actually go to somebody else. It's not a tree that I enjoy growing out. Now this is a Chinese juniper that has been growing out for a decade, I think. It's been in this spot. Earlier this year I put some air layers in to remove some of the sacrifices. And this should actually be completely wired out. This is a 2-year-old whip. This could be done now. I should have actually done it in fall. But in spring these will be much more flexible than right now. So I'm going to wait with putting a wire on these until spring starts. Everything is full sap again. So I'm not doing that work right now when they're all frozen up. There's a very nice trunk underneath, but I can't really show it right now. Because that's really why I'm removing it. The trunk is getting ready to go into a pot. It's going to be another 2 or 3 years before I've removed all these sacrifices into individual trees. But then I'm going to lift this one. I'm a little bit sad because I forgot that I wanted to record how I prune my larches. So these are larches that have been in the ground, well these for maybe 4 or 5 years, this one for maybe 10 years. And every year I prune them in the same way. And it starts all the same. This is a young 2-year-old larch with just a few side branches, and I can just leave this alone. This is a little bit older and I already clipped the top out. But to stimulate the lower branches, what I do, I just go up with my hands and I hold the branches just over the cut, whatever sticks in my hands, right? And I just prune it off. Then these are quite long and I just reduce them. And this is all that I do this year. Now I just let this grow. You can see here the same thing I have done, just gone up, held everything, clipped it, and then went around. What you see here as well, this is a linden broom that I'm trying to build up. And here I'm just going to rub off buds that have popped here on the trunk over winter. If there's too many buds here on these side branches, I also rub them off. Linden, when healthy, is really strong. Now here you see multiple branches coming from one spot. Just remove the duplicates, remove the whole cluster of buds here at this base. Basically just remove all the growth that you don't want to pop in spring right now. For the next couple of weeks there will be more buds coming before they start opening up. That exit section is gone. This is actually not all that pretty. Right, something like this. And hidden here between all the leaves, a little Malus that I'm growing out. And here also I'm just going to remove the long stalks. I'm not thinking about it, I'm just removing extension growth. The fattening up is mostly done and I'm now just aiming at creating good buds on the inside. So also this juniper that I really would like to style, but it's going to be here for a little bit longer. Just removing all the old fluff, the dark dead foliage out of here, and besides that, just going to leave it alone. What a great decision to not work the roots and just leave them in the ground and just do a gentle prune. It does look gorgeous on the snow though. So this is a very quick what I do in my grow bed over winter. It's not very much. I'm leaving most of the things alone. I'm just pruning down some of the trees that need pruning, but most of it can wait until early spring. And in winter, just leave it alone.